And so I had to chase down some people to give them what they won in the raffle. And But you remember that you won that, right? Okay. And just in case you guys are enjoying the fashion statement that I'm making at the moment, this will be one of the prizes at some point. This is my extra set of cap and bells.
Can I get my money back?
I'm sorry? But we do what now?
So can I get my money back?
Yeah. I don't know from who, but anyway, so I want to read something from our hosts, Sonorous Road, because I told them I would, okay? And she was going to type it up, or she was going to print it for me, but the printer wouldn't stay online. So, okay, so they've been in this amazing space for 2 years, and they're glad to be having their third. Now she says the third annual sonnet reading. This is the fourth. Okay. Okay. Supporting local businesses and local theaters so critically important. Sonorous Road is no exception, as almost all of the work that happens to keep things going is done by volunteers and with the help of donations. If you'd like to continue to have events like this in intimate local arts spaces, where there's several ways you can help, from adding your name to the Sonorous Road volunteer list, okay, or to contributing as a they say Patreon. I have not looked that up, but this will be showing up on Facebook at some point. And there's a sign-up sheet down by the concession stand where you can put name and email address to be one of their volunteers. There's a sign-up sheet down near the house manager where you can sign up to be on the Pequod Productions mailing list. And oh goodness, what is Pequod Productions? Don't change your phone number. I'll be back. Okay. Also, please tell your friends and family about the summer camp where students ages 5 to 7 can gain an excellent introduction into the world of theater and film. Now you probably notice I've said Sonorous Road and I've said Sonorous Road. And there's a reason for that, because when Michelle first opened the theater, she told me it was called Sonorous Road. And I said, okay. Well, my writing partner heard me say Sonorous Road, and she said, he knows my writing partner, and she said, you're an idiot, it's pronounced Sonorous Road. And we looked it up, and that's how the dictionary thinks it's pronounced, it's sonorous. But here they call it sonorous, so that's why I say it two different ways. Okay, what is Pequod Productions? Well, as everybody knows, in the book Moby Dick, Captain Ahab sailed a ship called the Pequod, okay? He chased after the great white whale. Well, the first time I decided to produce something, I realized I was chasing after a great white whale, and so we called it Pequod Productions. What I forgot to notice is that at the end of Moby Dick, the Pequod sinks to the bottom. Okay, but what Pequod Productions does is anybody that's part of my circle of friends says, hey, why don't we produce this? And I say, if you got the money, I got the time. Okay. And so we have in the past produced Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, Sartre's No Exit, and of course we produce this all the time. We have on the horizon, at some point, we're going to be producing a show called Coyote on a Fence. It's a fellow that's reading in the second group tonight is going to co-direct with me. No idea for sure when that's going to happen because it looks like a major tech thing. Okay, but anyway, so what would you say if I told you that somebody jumped in a car and drove 11 hours and then is going to jump in a car and drive 11 hours back home again so that she could read sonnet number 1? Okay, well, this is my sister, the Reverend Edith Ben-Rude Roberts, and she came down from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. She'll be doing sonnet number 1, and so please, take your spot and let me try to remember what. Do you remember what else I was going to say? You don't, do you? Okay, but no. Remember that I want to encourage people to share information, that you think your sonnet siblings need to know. If you're in a production of something coming up, tell us about it. If you've got some project, if you just published a book, tell us about it. But try not to take more than a minute. And let's see what else here. That might be it. Gee. Well, I know what else I thought. I'm on my to-do list. Sit down and shut up. Okay.
Good evening. I want to thank my little brother for inviting me to come down for that. He is indeed my little brother, although he's been larger than me since he was 2 and I was 4. So, at any rate, I'm pleased to be here tonight to meet some of the people that he spends his time with and to wish the bard happy birthday. Sonnet number 1. From fairest creatures, we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die, but as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feeds thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies. Thyself thy foe, to thyself too cruel. Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content, and tender churl, makest waste in negarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due by the grave and thee. And now, I'm going to read it in French, but I lost my French. Maintenant en français. Aux êtres les plus beaux, nous demandons des fils, au lit de la beauté d'éterniser sa gloire. Et puisque c'est autant leur candeur des lys, que de blancs héritières nous gardons le mémoire. Toi, fiassant ta vie à l'éclat de tes yeux, tu nourris ton feu clair de la propre substance. Et ton doux ennemi, ton moi perçu, fait lever la famine au champ de l'abondance. De la terre féconde, ornement tendre et frais. Sur les brillantes et rondes de printemps qui se perdent. Pourquoi sceller ta sève et tes bergeons journées, vilain qui se gaspille en jouant à la verre? Oh, prends pitié du monde soisant de Birrell, dévore son espoir, pourvoyeur du tombeau.
I'm George Robertson, and I'm going to read sonnet number 2. When 40 winters shall besiege thy brow, and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field, thy youth's proud livery, so gazed on now, will be a tattered weed of small worth held. Then, being asked where all thy beauty lies, where all the treasure of thy lusty days, to say, within thine own deep sunken eyes, were an all-eating shame and thriftless praise. How much more praise deserved thy beauty's use, if thou couldst answer, this fair child of mine shall sum my count and make my old excuse, proving his beauty by succession thine. This were to be new, made when thou art old, and see thy blood warm when thou feel'st it cold.
I'm Dick Hayden. Nothing great, nothing big. just do things, a lot of which Kurt draws me into. But my favorite thing is reading every Monday morning for the blind at the Triangle Radio Reading Service. So if you would like to tune me in tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, or at 9:30 rather, www.trianglereadingservice.org. Every Monday. I'll give you everything that's in the N&O and maybe a few other newspapers. But that's not why we're here. We're here a little bit concerned about what the Bard is doing. He's urging a youth, a young person, a young man, to look toward posterity and to bless the world by begetting children, as if he needed any encouragement. Just as he reflects his mother's beauty, showing how lovely she was in her prime, so a child would record that same beauty as his own. But I wonder, is he worried about the young man, or is he worried about himself? Something we should think about. Look in thy glass and tell the face thou viewest, now is the time that face should form another, whose fresh repair, if now thou not renewest, thou dost beguile the world and unbless some mother. For where is she so fair, whose unaired womb disdains the tillage of thy husbandry? Or who is he so fond will be the tomb of his self-love to stop posterity? Thou art thy mother's glass, and she thee calls back the lovely April of her prime. So thou through windows of thine age shall see, despite of wrinkles, this thy golden time. But if thou live, remembered not to be, die single, and thine image dies with thee.
Hi, I'm Seth Bloom. This is the biggest gig I've got going at the moment. Sonnet number 4. Unthrifty loveliness, why dost thou spend upon thyself thy beauty's legacy? Nature's bequest gives nothing, but doth lend. And being frank, she lends to those are free. Then, beauteous niggard, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largesse given to thee to give? Profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live? For having traffic with thyself alone, thou of thyself thy sweet self doth deceive, and then how, when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou leave? Thy unused beauty must be tuned with thee, which used lives the executor to be.
Hi, my name is Judy Dove, and I'll be reading Sonnet 5. I was underscoring. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell, will play the tyrants to the very same, and that unfair which fairly doth excel. For never resting time leads summer on to hideous winter, and confounds him there. Sap checked with frost, and lusty leaves quite gone. Beauty o'ersnowed, and bareness everywhere. Then were not summer's distillation left, a liquid prisoner pent in walls of glass. Beauty's effect with beauty were bereft. Nor it, nor no remembrance what it was, but flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, least but their show, their substance still lives sweet.
Hello, my name is Kent Dove, and I will be reading Sonnet 6. Then let not winter's ragged hand deface in thee thy summer, ere thou be distilled. Make sweet some vial, treasure thou some place with beauty's treasure, ere it be self-killed. That use is not forbidden usury, which happies those that pay the willing loan. That's for thyself to breed another thee, or 10 times happier, be it 10 for 1. 10 times thyself were happier than thou art. If 10 of thine 10 comes refigured thee, then what could death do if thou shouldst depart, leaving thee living in posterity? Be not self-willed, for thou art much too fair to be death's conquest, and make worms their heir.
Hi, my name is April Storm Perry, and I'm going to be reading sonnet number 7, which compares a man's life to the rising and setting of the sun. Low in the orient, when the gracious light lifts up his burning head, each under eye, doth homage to his appearing sight, serving with looks his sacred majesty. And having climbed the steep up heavenly hill, resembling strong youth in his middle age, yet mortal looks adore his beauty still, attending on his golden pilgrimage. But when from highmost pitch with wary car, like feeble age he reeleth from the day, the eyes for duteous now converted are, from his low tract and look another way. So thou, thyself outgoing in thy noon, unlooked on deest, unless thou get a son.
So I actually withheld a little bit of information earlier when I said there was one person that drove from Pennsylvania and is going to drive back. We got one person moved from New York just so she could read.
My name is Kelly Buynitzky, and I will be reading Sonnet 8. Music to hear. Why hearest thou music sadly? Sweets with sweets or not, joy delights in joy. Why lovest thou which thou receivest not gladly? Or else receivest with pleasure thine annoy? If the true concord of well-tuned sounds by unions married do offend thy ear, they do but sweetly chide thee, who confounds in singleness the parts that thou shouldst spare. Mark how one string, sweet husband to another, strikes each in each by mutual ordering, resembling sire and child and happy mother, who all in one pleasing note do sing, whose speechless song, being many, seeming one, sings this to thee. Thou single, whipped, proof none. Thank you.
And I withheld some more information. If you stick around for the 8 o'clock hour, you get to hear one of Kelly's sons read. And stick around for the 9 o'clock hour, you get to hear the other one. And you can compare the 3.
Hi, you guys. My name is Denise Sepic, and I will be doing Sonnet 9. And my prop today is my son, Nate Sepic, and he will be helping me with my sonnet tonight. And Sonnet 9 is about a young man who is just very beautiful and who just doesn't want to settle down and get married and so on, have children. So I thought about a mother speaking to her son and just kind of wondering why he's not settling down. So You'll be able to figure that out at the end about what, like the person that he's truly in love with. You'll be able to figure it out really soon here. So, here's your grapes. Thank you. Is it for fear to wet a widow's eye that thou consumest thyself in single life? Ah, if thou issueless shalt have to die, the world will wail thee like a makeless wife. The world will be thy widow and still weep, that thou no form of thee hast left behind, when every private widow well may keep by children's eyes her husband's shape in mind. Look what an unthrift in the world doth spend, shifts but his place, for still the world enjoys it. But beauty's waste hath in the world an end, and kept unused, so the user destroys it. No love toward others in that bosom sits, when on himself such murderous shame commits.
I'm reading Sonnet 10. For shame, deny that thou bearest love to any, who for thyself art so unprovident. Grant, if thou wilt, thou art beloved of many, but that thou none lovest is most evident. For thou art so possessed with murderous hate, that against thyself thou stickest not to conspire, seeking that beauteous roof to ruinate, which to repair should be thy chief desire. O change thy thought, that I may change my mind. Shall hate be fairer lodged than gentle love? Be as thy presence is, gracious and kind, or to thyself at least kind-hearted prove. Make thee another self for love of me, that beauty still may live in thine or thee.
Hi, I'm Cindy Fowler, and I cannot understand Shakespeare, bless his heart, but I do understand he was a great writer. I'm reading Sonnet 11. Hopefully, you'll understand it. As fast as thou shalt wane, so fast thou growest in one of thine from that which thou departest, and that fresh blood which youngly thou bestowest, thou mayst call thine when thou from youth convertest. Herein lies lives wisdom, beauty, and increase. Without this, folly, age, and cold decay. If all were minded so, the times should cease, and 80 year would make the world away. Let those whom nature hath not made for store, harsh, featureless, and rude, barrenly perish. Look, whom she best endowed, she gave the more, which bounteous gift thou shouldst in bounty cherish. She carved thee for her seal, and meant thereby thou shouldst print more, not let that copy die.
Hi, I'm Dara Lyon-Warner. I'll be reading Sonnet 12. When I was reading through some sonnets to try to select one early on in the process of Kurt's organizing this year, it kind of reminded me of watching my mother grow old, and I was with her when she died, and that was what struck me. Je ne les préparais pas en français parce que j'ai oublié beaucoup de cette langue, mais voici en anglais. When I do count the clock that tells the time, and see the brave day sunk in hideous night, when I behold the violet past its prime, and sable curls all silvered o'er with white. When lofty trees I see barren of leaves, which erst from heat did canopy the herd, and summer's green all girded up in sheaves, borne on the beard with white and bristly beard. Then of thy beauty do I question make, that thou among the wastes of time must go, since sweets and beauties do themselves forsake and die as fast as they see others grow, and nothing 'gainst time's scythe can make defense, save breed to brave him when he takes thee hence.
Hi, my name is Meredith Stevens, and I am here tonight for the first time. Very excited about this. Kurt cold messaged me over the Facebook and said, "Hey, I heard you like Shakespeare." And I said, "Hey, I do." So here we are, and I'm here with three wonderful friends of mine and fellow actors, and we are not only representing our own love for Shakespeare, but we are representing a theater company in Greensboro, Goodly Frame Theater. We are producing King Lear, which opens May 16. You can check us out at goodlyframe.org. Sonnet 13. Oh, that you were yourself. But love, you are no longer yours, then you yourself here live. Against this coming end, you should prepare, and your sweet semblance to some other give. So should your beauty, which you hold in lease, find no determination. Then you are yourself again, after yourself's decease, when your sweet issue, your sweet form should bear. Who lets so fair a house fall to decay, which husbandry in honor might uphold against the stormy gusts of winter's day? Or barren waste of death's eternal cold? None but unthrifts. Dear my love, you know you had a father. Let your son say so.
And more information, come on up, George. Okay. More information that I unfortunately withheld is that some people come all the way from Greensboro, okay, in order that they might.
Doesn't seem that far anymore, though.
Well, that's for sure. But really, what's really important at the moment is I was studying a little bit about Elizabethan era, and they said to hear an Elizabethan speaking English, it sounds a whole lot like what a Scotsman sounds like nowadays speaking English. And so I thought we'd take advantage of this opportunity to prove it.
Whoa. See here, Jimmy, you'll have your guts through the garters after that one. My name is George Birrell. I've been preceded as to my origins. Therefore, a little nationalistic exchange may come apparent, but only with logic and validity. In preparing to read this sonnet, it appears to be about forecasting and futility. This sonnet gives credence to Shakespeare being a prolific writer with zero editing attributes. But he was English.
Spoken like a true Celt.
Sonnet 14. Not from the stars do I my judgment pluck,
and yet methinks I have astronomy, but not to tell of good or evil luck, of plagues, of dearths, or seasons' quality. Nor can I fortune to brief minutes tell, pointing to each his thunder, rain, and wind, or say with princes, if it shall go well, by oft predict that in heaven find. But from thine eyes my knowledge I derive, and constant stars, in them I read such art as truth and beauty shall together thrive. If from thyself to store thou wouldst convert, or else of thee this I prognosticate. Thy end is truth's and beauty's doom and date. Given this utterly confusing set of words by someone who's supposed to be a fantastic writer, I would like to show the other extreme of a poet who gives simple words, simple phrases, and deep human meaning. And he put this together in 10 minutes. Once Robert Burns was famous. He was invited to many events and went to only a few because he didn't like people fawning over him. He was asked to dinner by a merchant in the town of Selkirk in the Scottish borders, and he accepted for some reason or other, and they were all having a drink before dinner, chattering away, and about 10 minutes before dinner was due to start, his host came up to him and said, "I say, Burns, would you be kind enough to give the grace before the meal?" Which was obviously going to be in 10 minutes' time. And he said, "Of course, yes, I would happily do that," blah, 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 and sort of went into a bit of a reverie. And he stood up and said these words, which are now known as the Selkirk Grace. Simple words, but deep meaning. Some hae meat and canna eat, and some would eat that want it. But we hae meat, and we can eat, and say the Lord be thanked. Amen. Given that we're in the United States and it's an entertainment, there is also a commercial. In May and June, I will be giving at five Wake County libraries a presentation on Scottish poetry, reading some poems, giving a bit of commentary around about them, poetry by Robert Burns, Lady Nairn, Robert Louis Stevenson, William Souter, and some other Scottish poets. I have some notices for these events, May the 5th.
We can put those on the counter out here.
Okay, good.
And if you would be so good as to email me the information about it, I'll forward it out to the whole mailing list. Okay? Thank you, my friend.
Hello. I am the third George of the evening, George Jack. I'll be doing sonnet number 15. Many years ago when I was in high school, my theater teacher, Margaret Trask, was also my Latin teacher. And so I'm going to combine a little bit of both things that she taught me. I'm going to do sonnet 15 first in English and then in church Latin. When I consider everything that grows, holds in perfection but a little moment, that this huge stage presenteth naught but shows, whereon the stars in secret influence comment. When I perceive that men, as plants increase, cheered and checked even by the selfsame sky, vaunt in their youthful sap, at height decrease, and wear their brave state out of memory. Then the conceit of this inconstant stay sets you most rich in youth before my sight, where wasteful time debateth with decay, to change your day of youth to sullied night, and all in war with time for love of you, as he takes from you, I engraft you new. Quiquid fit vitebo, perfectione parum habet momenti, ostendit quod hoc non fuit nisi ingen scene super hoc, quo arcana comment sidera. Viri video coniam cum plantis et crescat, quod bonum animo estate et in ipso cielo, lactat juventus succum sumo decrementi. Publicae fortes et habitu memoriae, lubricus et hoc maniant apud illos fastus, in adolescentia mea inconspectu omnium vestrum dives visus. Ubi damnosum tempus et decremento. Foi David juvenium die mutare nocte, omne tempus belli et amore, et hoc accipit sicut vos vires inserat ille novas.
Hello. I am Linda Donnell, and I am reading, sharing Shakespeare's wonderful Sonnet 16. But wherefore do not you a mightier way make war upon this bloody tyrant time, and fortify yourself in your decay, which means more blessed than my barren rhyme? Now stand you on the top of happy hours, and many maiden gardens, yet unset, with virtuous wish would bear you living flowers, much liker than your painted counterfeit. So should the lines of life that life repair, which this time's pencil, or my pupil pen, neither in inward worth nor outward fair, can make you live yourself in eyes of men. To give away yourself keeps yourself still, and you must live drawn by your own sweet skill.
And once again, I withheld some information. First of all, she was one of the musicians for doing the and second of all, over here in, wait a minute. Okay, they played musical chairs on me while I wasn't looking. But anyway, her father read earlier, and we're not going to say who he is.
Hi, I'm Havana Blum. That's my dad. That's my mom. And I have two sisters. One of them is going to be reading later tonight. And we did a family thing last year for the sonnets, and that was fun. So my mother wrote a short film that we all starred in. It's called Passing, and I'm sure you can get that from her tonight if you want. Plus also, my sister Eowyn is being Jean Valjean in Les Miserables in Carroll Middle School, and she's going to be super awesome, and you can get dates from my mother again. Yeah. I'm going to be reading Sonnet 17. Who will believe my verse in time to come if it were filled with your most high deserts? Though
Yet heaven knows it is but a tune which hides your life and shows not half your parts. If I could write the beauty of your eyes, and in fresh numbers number all your graces, to age to come would say, this poet lies, such heavenly touches ne'er touch earthly faces. So should my papers, yellowed with their age, be scorned like old men of less truth than tongue, and your true rights be termed a poet's rage, and stretched meter of an antique song. But were some child of yours alive that time, you should live twice, in it and in my rhyme.
Well, that's a hard act to follow. My name is David Merritt, and I'll be reading Sonnet 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance, or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Hi, my name is Keith Kenel, and I have a lot of things in common with William Shakespeare. He was born in April. I was born in April. He was born in the early 60s. I was born in the early 60s. William Shakespeare was a great and prolific writer. I am a prolific writer. If you want to delve into my deep and sick brain, Keith A. Kenel, Kenel, at WordPress.com. Every day you get a snippet. But today, I'm going to read Sonnet 19 from William Shakespeare.
But wait a minute.
But wait, there's more.
Aren't you in a show?
And far more important than my mere writing scribbles is the Carrie Players.
You're talking about
4 Weddings and an Elvis, where I play the fabulous Bryce Cannon. Thank you very much.
Okay, I believe our sound fellow is also in that, if I'm not mistaken.
The Robbie Merritt,
That would be
beyond Merritt.
Thank you, sir. Please continue.
Sonnet 19.
Last year, this person sitting in the upper corner up there was playing guitar and singing her sonnet when the train came by. And we have her on video cutting her eyes.
Devouring time, blunt thou the lion's paws, and make the earth devour her own sweet brood. Pluck the keen teeth from the fierce tiger's jaw, and burn the long-lived phoenix in her blood. Make glad and sorry seasons as thou fleets, and do whatever thou wilt, swift-footed time, to the wide world and all her fading sweets. But I forbid thee one most heinous crime. O carve not with thy hours my love's fair brow, nor draw no lines there with thine antique pen. Him in thy courts untainted do allow, for beauty's pattern to succeeding men. Yet do thy worst, old time, despite thy wrong, my love shall in my verse ever live young.
Once or twice a year, I'll walk across here and not say anything.
But not this time.
Hi there, my name is Mikki. I'm the Marketing and Communications Director at Theatre Raleigh, where we are in the Duke Energy Center Performing Arts building, specifically in the Kennedy Theater in the heart of downtown Raleigh. From May through September, we're going to be doing our 2019 summer series. It's definitely our bread and butter. We're going to be producing 1 show a month. It's quite an undertaking, And we'll be raffling off a couple of tickets tonight and a couple of tickets tomorrow night as well. So maybe you'll get to come see one for free. That'd be very fun.
So don't change your email address.
And then a fun fact about me, my favorite Shakespearean play is Much Ado About Nothing. I love Beatrice. Who doesn't love Beatrice? I'll be reading Sonnet 20. A woman's face, with nature's own hand painted hast thou, the master, mistress of my passion. A woman's gentle heart, but not acquainted with shifting change, as is false woman's fashion. An eye more bright than theirs, less false and rolling, gilding the object whereupon it gazeth, a man in hue, all hues in his controlling. Much steals men's eyes, and women's souls amazeth. And for a woman wert thou first created, till nature, as she wrought thee, fell a-doting, and by addition me of thee defeated, by adding one thing to my purpose, nothing. But since she pricked thee out for woman's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure. Thanks.
Hi everybody, I'm Denise Sepic, and I've appeared in a couple of plays with Mr. Birrell. And what he doesn't know, I'm doing my plug now. Harold and Maude is being produced at the Holly Springs Cultural Center in Holly Springs and at the new Fuquay-Varina Arts Center in Fuquay-Varina. Look for me in the cemetery scene. So I will be reading sonnet number 21. This is the Bard's Truth. So it is not with me as with that muse, stirred by a painted beauty to his verse, who heaven itself for ornament doth use, and every fair with his fair doth rehearse, making a couplement of proud compare, with sun and moon, with earth and sea's rich gems, with April's firstborn flowers and all things rare, that heaven's air in this huge rondure hems. Oh, let me true in love, but truly right, and then believe me, my love is as fair as any mother's child, though not so bright as those gold candles fixed in heaven's air. Let them say more than like of hearsay well. I will not praise that purpose not to sell. And I have been asked by Mr. Birrell to do this in Yiddish. Don't know how many people will understand what I'm saying. Sonnet 21. Mit mir ist nicht wie mit der Muse jener. Verschenkeit verbicke befriedigt ihr Lied. Kommt als zum Himmel und ihr zu nehmen. Und jede Pracht für Eigenpracht sie gibt. Die Stolz vergleichen, nur in pur sie macht, Levonne, Sonne, Choral von Erd und Jam. April, Blumen, gezwit und selten dicke Pracht, was Himmels größer Rund nimmt in sein Rahmen. Lass mich in Liebe treu, sein treu in Wort, und glaub mich, dann ist Lieb meins so schön, wie jedes Mutterkind, nur nicht geglort, wie jeder Goldlicht in dem Himmel rein. Lass sie barmen sich mit Herr und sag, ich glaub nicht zum Mark mein Ziel ich trog.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jackie Wrobel, and this was my first year taking part in the sonnet readings, and I wasn't really sure how to choose a sonnet. And since this is a birthday celebration, I decided to go with my father's birthday, which is the 22nd. So, happy birthday, William Shakespeare. Happy birthday, Robert Marino.
But ask her how many years I've tried to get her in on this.
22? That would make me 28. My glass shall not persuade me I am old, so long as youth and now are of one date. But when in thee time's furrows I behold, then look I death my days should expiate. For all that beauty that doth cover thee is but the seemly raiment of my heart, which in thy breast doth live as thine in me. How can I then be elder than thou art? O therefore, love, be of thyself so wary, as I, not for myself, but for thee will, bearing thy heart which I will keep so chary, as tender nurse her babe from faring ill. Presume not on thy heart when mine is slain, thou gavest me thine, not to give back again.
And the guy that withholds information over here needs to let you know you've heard from her sister and her father. Okay. So,
Hi, I'm Eowyn Blum, and I will be reading my sonnet in Klingon. No, I will not, in fact, be reading my sonnet in Klingon. I don't know Klingon. Please don't hold me to that. I, however, will be starring as Jean Valjean in my middle school's production of Les Mis. That's not as impressive in reading a sonnet in Klingon, I know, but hopefully this will be. Anyway, Sonnet 23. As an unperfect actor on the stage who with fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart, so I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seems to decay, o'ercharged with the burden of mine own love's might. Oh, let my books be then the eloquence and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense more than tongue that hath more expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ, to hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
Hi, this is Rhea. I'll be reading Sonnet 24. Good evening, everybody. Mine eye hath played the painter, and hath still the beauty's form in table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein it is held, and perspective, it is the painter's art. For through the painter must you see his skill, to find where your true image pictured lies, which in my bosom's shop is hanging still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes. Now see what good turns eyes for eyes have done. Mine eyes have drawn thy shape, and thine for me are windows to my breast, where through the sun delights to be, to gaze therein on thee. Yet eyes, this cunning, want to grace their art. They draw but what they see, know not the heart. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andrea Mensch, and I've been participating in these readings for a while. A couple of months ago, I requested sonnet number 25 from Kurt, and my initial motivation was just to sort of celebrate a return to a private sphere, giving up on the glories of one's professional life, public recognition, those kind of things. But today it occurred to me that this is actually the perfect time to dedicate it to somebody very dear to me who's decided to get married this week, to take the plunge into matrimony, and believe me, this particular decision has absolutely nothing to do with procreation. So let me read Sonnet 25 first in English and then in German. Let those who are in favor with their stars of public honor and proud titles boast, whilst I, whom fortune of such triumph bars, unlooked for joy in that I honor most. Great princes' favorites their fair leaves spread, but as the marigold at the sun's eye, and in themselves their pride lies buried, for at a frown they in their glory die. The painful warrior, famous for fight, after 1,000 victories, once foiled, is from the book of honor razed quite, and all the rest forgot for which he toiled. Then happy I, that love and am beloved, where I may not remove, nor be removed. So here is Sonnet 25 auf Deutsch für Heike und Hans. Lass die geboren unter günst'gem Stern sich stolzer Titel rühmen, hoher Ehre, derweil ich heimlich den Triumphen fern durch meine Liebe meine Freude mehre. Der Hoheit Günstling strahlt in seinem Glanz, wie in der Sonne Licht die Ringelblume. Doch in beherrschen Laun und Zufall ganz, ein Zornblick macht ein Ende seinem Ruhme. Der Held, der schwer erkämpften Lorbeer trug, nach 1000 Siegen einmal überwunden, ist wie gestrichen aus der Ehre Buch, sein Tun vergessen und sein Lohn verschwunden. Drum glücklich ich lieb und bin geliebt, wo's kein Verdrängen und Vergessen gibt.
And so, it's almost break time. Okay, now, first of all, how many people out here are currently or used to be a teacher? Does this surprise anybody? Okay, all right, now, we're gonna raffle off a couple of things. This, that's been living in my back pocket, is a voucher good for 2 tickets to the next Justice Theater Project's show. Now, you'll notice that I cleverly put JTP in the upper right-hand corner, where you would put a stamp if you want to reuse the envelope. Okay, all right. Seems like I had something cute I was gonna say, but I can't remember. Oh, yeah. How many of y'all in the front row were last-minute fill-ins tonight? Raise your hand high. Hey, raise your hand high. Yeah. You were hey, go ahead, raise your hand. Okay, yeah, okay. Notice that they all have the same last name, Blum. Okay, all right. Okay, so anyway, so just for the fun of it, everybody met Cindy Fowler. She was our greeter tonight. So she's going to draw the ticket for the winner of a voucher good for 2 tickets to the Justice Theater Project show. Come on down.
I've got my ticket.
Close your eyes.
No.
Okay. Just a quick FYI here. I got you. Okay. Now, go sit down. Go sit down. Now, just a quick FYI here. less than 24 hours ago, this had popcorn in it, and my sister and I were eating it. Okay, but anyway, back at the ranch. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Where is Mary Rowland? Okay, this is the ticket that ends with 028, and she was the last person to purchase a ticket tonight. So, Mary, you have a winner here, and just because we had
Are you an accountant?
She's here, but she just went out to get her sweater.
That's what I would say. Okay. So Mary's gone to get her sweater because, as everybody knows, it's very chilly in here. Okay. But since she's not here, just for the fun of it, I know. Let's see if you can draw a number in Scottish as well as in English. All right.
Oh, that's,
Oh.
okay.
All sorts of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This used to take a whole lot less time. Okay. Okay. Well, let me read the number. Do you have something that ends with 026? Hey, Mary. It's a voucher for 2 tickets to the next Justice Theater Project show.
I win.
Yeah, but you want to trade for what's behind the curtain? No. Note that you can put a stamp over JTP and reuse the envelope. Okay. Now, who has something that ends with 026? Hey, looky here. Okay. Is this you or your son?
That's him, yeah.
Okay. This is her son, but you can send him in here if you like. And I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you, is this Svetnik?
Sveto.
Sveta.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, gotcha. He has won a CD called 7 Sonnets and a Song, okay? Which I cleverly recorded into my computer and made myself a copy of. Hey. Where is Carolyn? Carolyn, could you come down here for a second here? I want everybody to practice saying cheese, okay? Because Carolyn's going to take a couple of wide-angle shots here, and then we're going to take a 10-minute break. Hey, sit still, will you? Okay. That's what I would say. Okay. But anyway, once she has snapped the 3rd shot, is it going to take 3?
At least.
Okay. When Carolyn says it's okay, y'all take a 10-minute break, all right?